Hey everybody, it is half past midnight and I have just got out of a screening of Nosferatu, the new film by Robert Eggers. I saw it in IMAX with laser and I'm going to give you a review about it because I'm very excited. This is one of the movies I've been looking forward to for a very long time. If Robert Eggers makes something, I'm gonna go show up for it because he makes beautiful cinema. Whether I fully connect with the story or not, at times, I just love seeing him at work. And some of his films are some of my favorites of all time. So I was very excited to see him tackle Nosferatu. So story-wise, Nosferatu is essentially Dracula with some names and places changed. If you don't know much about the original 1922 film directed by F.W. Murnau, it is go see it, first of all. If you love film, if you love horror, watch the original 1922 production. I love that movie so much. I'm a huge Nosferatu fan, which is one of the reasons why I was so excited about this, to see Robert Eggers take this on. But the history of it is kind of interesting if you haven't heard. Essentially, the original Nosferatu, a symphony of horror, is a low-budget German expressionist film, and it was unauthorized. So the heirs of Stoker's estate, when it came out in 1922, actually sued and ordered all copies of the film destroyed. By chance, some of the prints were saved, and that's the only reason why we have this story to view now. Robert Eggers delivers a lush, beautiful adaptation of the story that I think is worthy of the legacy. You get all the trademark Robert Eggers stuff in this film. So if you're not a fan of the slow, deliberate pace that he has in his movies, you're not gonna like this movie probably any more than the others. I really love just his camera work. The scenery here, the sets, the costuming is all just gorgeous. And there's a lot of inventive visual language that Robert Eggers does here. Some of it's coming from the original Nosferatu, some of it is purely from him and original. And I really enjoyed this movie a great deal. The design of Nosferatu himself is very different. The original design is so iconic that I'm glad that they did something different. And what Robert Eggers does with it is gruesome. It is horrifying, and he achieves some really very gruesome but also beautiful moments through, you know, the performance and the makeup. Skarsgård, of course, can be relied on to embody a hideous villain. We know that very well from his previous work, and there's no exception here. He really builds a great Count Orlok. I think Nicholas Hoult is fantastic, as is Emma Corrin. Willem Dafoe, which is really fun. I love that he is in this movie because he was in Shadow of the Vampire, which is a fantastic movie that not enough people talk about anymore, but I definitely encourage you to go check it out. It's basically fictional telling of the making of Nosferatu. And Willem Dafoe plays Max Schreck, who played Nosferatu. It's great. You just have to go see it. But I really love that he was here. Eggers also does a fantastic job of keeping the sense of dread really consistent through the movie, through the use of visuals and the score, the usage of light and shadow and atmospherics. One of the things I really loved about this movie is there's multiple scenes where there's so much atmospheric fog and the light is shining through it. It's just, you know, it's kind of a recurring motif through it. But what's fun about this too is it does lend a little bit of realism to the time period. Like when they go in the bar, it is full of smoke because that's how it would be. And so I just sort of felt that it was a little more involving because of that, and I really enjoyed that. It wasn't just a cool visual touch, but it really added to the atmosphere. So if you are familiar with Robert Eggers' work, or you are cool with a slower paced, very tense horror movie with some really gruesome stuff in it, and you love the tale of Dracula or Nosferatu, I definitely recommend you go see this in the big screen. It's just, oh, it's so worth seeing.